So you've heard of Miniconda, and you're either looking to get started in Python or you already know Python, you just wanted to use Miniconda, but don't know exactly how to get started installing it. Well, in this video, we're going to walk through a really quick, fast, and easy way for you to install Miniconda on your system and then get started with the different environments that are available, downloading the package that you need, and then of course building the Python projects that you've been looking forward to building. Hi everybody, my name is Zane Goodman from Pragmatic Works, and I'm excited to be with you in this video. We are going to be installing Miniconda. Of course, you clicked on this video, you saw Miniconda, so you know the drill, right? But I do want to explain very quickly why we would want to do this in the first place. Needless to say, Miniconda provides to you environments. Environments are like bubbles, right? So you have a project, and a project's going to go in a bubble. And another project that you build 6 months later is going to go into another bubble. And then, of course, you continue that line downwards from there. Over time, you might have different versions of Python being used. And if you have a project that's 3 years old, well, that's 3 years of updates to Python. So we don't want to have the newest version of Python just updated to a project that's 3 years old, because then there could be dependency issues with other libraries and packages that we've installed and are using for that project, right? It could just break a lot of different items in a project because something major has changed with how Python functions, or maybe some actual Python functions that we are using are not going to work correctly at that point, right? These are things that we want to avoid. And so we use environments to section off our projects or groups of projects according to the versions of the tools that we want to use to build that project, right? So if I have a project that has Python 3.11, and then now, of course, we're at Python 3.13, I don't want to just change my Python 3.11 to Python 3.13, at least not automatically, right? So what some people end up doing is actually just installing Python system-wide. You can go to python.org, you can download Python and use it there. But even though this is good for just learning Python, there's nothing wrong with it necessarily, you can run into issues when you start to build out your own projects, and you don't want to run into an issue like that, because I promise you dependency issues and errors are not fun. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use Miniconda's quiet installer. It'll be very quick and it'll be a lot of fun. Now, keep in mind that Miniconda is one piece of a larger product called Anaconda. There's a lot to that, and I'm going to link in the description to a lot of helpful links that I'll mention throughout the day. One of those is going to point you to the website that you can download Miniconda yourself. Of course, I'm going to give you everything you need in this video to do so as well. But you'll also be able to see Anaconda and the other products that they offer as well, which may be more helpful to you. That being said, what we're going to do is on our Windows machine, and I'll zoom in here for everybody, should bring you to of course, your C drive, then your users folder, which is usually, especially if a computer is locked down in an organization, your users folder, and then the user that you are currently logged in as, that is going to be where you are able to download certain libraries or apps, things of that nature, right? So this is going to be where you want to be. Then I'm going to also link in the description to some demo files. And I want you to open up those demo files now after you've downloaded there in the description. Feel free to pause me and then come back. So I've copied the quiet installer. I hope that you have as well. And I am simply going to paste that right here inside of Windows PowerShell. You can hit paste anyway, and it is immediately going to start downloading Miniconda. Do keep in mind, when you use this installation, it is very fast. It is going to download everything you need. It's going to delete everything that you don't need, like the installer, for example. Again, you can read in the link in the description a little bit more about the documentation for what it's actually doing behind the scenes. But do know that because we're using this quiet installer, you are agreeing to Anaconda's terms of service upon installation. This is going to take just a moment, so I'll see you when it's finished up. So now you can see Miniconda is installed, and it has one more statement. It says delete miniconda.exe, and you can just select enter there if that shows up. But we now officially have Miniconda installed. Wasn't that easy? That's pretty crazy. But of course, we're not done. I'm not going to just show you how to copy and paste a set of code, press enter. And that's not going to be the end of the video, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to minimize out of PowerShell. If you open up your start menu, you should be able to search for Anaconda. And what you'll find is the Anaconda PowerShell prompt. Now, this is what you want to click on. For this video, what you do not want to click on is Anaconda prompt. So leave that aside for now. It's not that it wouldn't work for you, but for this video, we're going to use the PowerShell prompt, the Anaconda PowerShell prompt, of course. And if you use the other one, there'll be some differences in syntax and how you access and navigate through the shell. But I'm going to open this up and bring this over, and you wouldn't believe it. This looks almost exactly like our normal Windows PowerShell. I will say that you might see something a little bit different. So I have something called the terminal installed. Now, the terminal is a very, very helpful tool that you can get on the Microsoft Store that allows you to bring all of your different shells here into one location. It makes things look just a little bit prettier. If yours doesn't look like this, it's fine. It will still work just like mine does. It just doesn't look exactly the same. If you want it to look the same, just go to the Microsoft Store and download Terminal. Now that we have this installed, we are almost ready to actually create our first environment. But first, I like to add in some configuration, and I'll explain what this configuration is. But first, go ahead and follow along with me as I type this out. We're going to type out conda config --add channels conda -forge. Now, I'm going to press enter on this, and you can as well. And what that just did is it just updated our settings here for Conda. And it said that the channel that we should be looking through whenever we go to install a package such as Pandas, we want it to look towards Conda Forge. I've also linked in the description for you some more information on what channels are, how you can change a few things about them that I think would be very helpful for you to take a look at. But there's one more configuration that I would like to add here. So I'm going to say conda config, and I'm going to set the channel _priority to strict. That way we're looking directly at Conda Forge when we go to download another library like matplotlib, for example. Now, again, that link in the description will give you additional information about the different configuration options that you have available to you as far as channels go. Now that we've done this, we've set up our configuration, we can officially create an environment. And this is how we're going to do that. We're going to type out conda create -y-n, and then this is where you give the name of your environment. You could name this whatever you would like. I'm going to call this one Conda YouTube Demo. Conda YouTube Demo, that's going to be my name. And then this is where I type Python. I could leave it here if I want just the most updated, most recent version of Python, but I'm actually going to say Python is equal to, and then I'm going to give an actual version of Python that I'm going to use inside of this environment that I am currently creating. And I'm going to press enter. This will take just a moment to create this. But sometimes people can run into a little bit of an error here. They might get an SSL certificate error. If you get something like that, it's likely due to either a VPN or some kind of firewall setting in your organization. So if it's a firewall setting, what you can normally do is talk to a network admin in your organization. You can then get from them the certificate that you can use, and then you're able to run a command that tells Conda to look at that certificate. I'll show you exactly what that command would look like. It would be conda config set verify, and then this would be your path to certificate right here. But you can use that little statement there. That way, once you do get that certificate from your network admin, you'll be able to run that command. It should be able to recognize that certificate, and you should be good to go. Now, if you're on a VPN, I recommend just doing some testing, jumping off of the VPN and seeing if everything is going to run smoothly for you. If it does, well, then you are good to go. Now, if you, of course, want to be on the VPN while you are using Miniconda, then you'll also need to get that same type of certification, point to it just in the way that I was mentioning for those with a firewall setting being the item that is blocking them. I've linked in the description to some helpful information on how you might be able to get past an issue such as that. With that being said, though, we have now officially created our Conda environment, and now we're almost done for this video. But I want to point out, number one, what environment are we currently in, and how do we enter into the environment that we just created? So before we finish up, I would like us to enter into the environment. I think that might be helpful for you all to know. But before we jump into that, I do want to tell you we are currently in the base environment. To show you that, I'm going to type in clear, and you can as well. Clear is going to clear everything out. Now everything's back up to the top, and I can zoom in here and show you we are currently in the base environment. What we want to do is jump into the environment that we just created. If you're like me, and as soon as you create the environment, you forget what the name of the environment was, even though you just gave it the name, then you can use the command conda env list. And that's going to list out to you the different environments that you currently have. So now what I'm going to do, seeing that I have Conda YouTube demo here, I'm going to write Conda activate Conda YouTube demo. I'm going to press enter. Now you should be inside of your Conda environment that you just created. But it's a best practice when you're done working in the environment for the day to go ahead and deactivate the environment. So I'll show you that now. All you have to do is say Conda deactivate, and it's going to deactivate that environment, put you back in base, and you'll be good to close everything out for the day. Of course, I'm going to activate Conda YouTube demo again, and we are now inside of our environment that we just created. This is beautiful. This is now the location where you are able to download all of the packages that you would like to use for your project, like Python, like Jupyter, for example. So this is what we're going to do. You don't have to download these if you don't want to, if they're not something that you're going to use for your projects, but just to show you what it looks like to install these items, I'm going to type out Conda install pandas, simple space, Jupyter. Pandas and Jupyter, that's all I want right now. And I'm going to press enter. And that statement, Conda install, and then of course, that list of libraries and packages that you want to install, it could be one, it could be more than one, is going to be the syntax that you use to install packages. This is going to take just a moment, so I'll see you when it's finished up. Before it finishes up, there's something else I'd like to mention. When you install packages, oftentimes it'll say, hey, just want to let you know, are we sure we want to continue proceeding with the installation? Yes or no. You just put a Y or a no, or an N for no, press enter, and it's going to keep going. They're installed. Beautiful. Now, this is where you will now be able to start with your Python projects. If you want to make sure that everything is working right and you do have Python installed, you can simply type out Python, and there it is. It's 3.11.13, and that is what we installed whenever we created this environment. In this video, though we're not done, you have learned how do you install Miniconda in a quiet, quick, and easy way. How do you create an environment, and what exactly is an environment? Where and how do you install these different packages? And also, of course, how do you make sure everything's working right? Yep, there we go. Python 3.11 is right there. You wouldn't believe it. I can even use Python as a calculator and say 2 plus 2. And in fact, it does equal 4, even though I thought it equaled 5. That being said, I would like to show you one more item in this video. Because sometimes if we're just trying to get started with Python, right? Well, it would be nice if we didn't have to install anything necessarily. And there's actually a way that you can not only use Python, but pandas and other libraries as well, without having to install anything on your local machine. It's really, really helpful. There's plenty of websites out there that allow you to just play around with Python, but not a lot of places that you can play around with Python and many other libraries. And I'm going to show you one of those. So take a look at the link in the description, which is going to point you to Jupyter's webpage. If you take a look in that description and you see Project Jupyter Home, it's going to take you right here. Or just type out there what you see in the URL, jupyter.org. All I need to do is select try up at the top, scroll on down, and then select Jupyter Lab. Now do know that this particular feature is new, and it tells you right here, it's experimental. So you can run into bugs here. So don't do any kind of projects or create projects that are for production inside of this particular type of Jupyter Lab. However, this is really, really great for just playing around with Python and seeing what you can learn. It's also great for following one of our Python classes. For example, if you want to learn more about how exactly you can use Python for data analysis, check out our on-demand learning platform and take the Python for Data Analysis course. We go through all sorts of topics around Python, pandas, and more. For now, I'm going to select Jupyter Lab, and this is going to open up for me what you might expect to see if you open up Jupyter in the normal way when we are inside of Anaconda PowerShell. I'm inside of a notebook and I can just quickly create a new one too. Right under here, notebooks, I've got Python. Open this up. I can import pandas as PD. I can import NumPy as NP, and I can start using these different items. If I wanted to, I could read in a CSV file, passing in my path there if I wanted to. Of course, what I would need to do for that is upload a file, which you can do here as well. Even though it's definitely in preview mode, JupyterLite is a very helpful tool for you as somebody who is a beginner with Python, or even somebody who's experienced that just wants to play around with a few new items that you found are in Python. This is actually the tool that we will be using in the July Learn with the Nerds event that we have coming up completely for free. So if you are a beginner, then check that out. It's coming to you in July. You get to hang out with me for an hour and a half plus, where we talk about the basics of Python and pandas and how you just dive right in to wrangling data. I hope to see you there, and I hope that you have enjoyed this video. My name is Zane Goodman, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.